Welcome back. This is the Lightforge Arena tier list valuation stream YouTube/podcast. I am ADWCTA.
This is Merps. What are we talking about?
We're talking about the second best class right now in the meta. Remember, again, the rotation has already happened because Blizzard screwed something up. So we're using the win rates for HS Replay to determine the order we review these cards. And Hunter is number 2, Merps.
Wow, I hate it. This is not. I hate this.
What do you hate about Hunter being
I'm
number
not
2,
being
Merps?
sarcastic, guys. Okay, look. My Hunter thrives when normal Hunter is not doing great. And also, everyone doing well with Hunter means Hunter is actually really powerful because it takes skill, okay? It takes skill to play Hunter. If everyone is just bumbling their way to high win rates with Hunter, it's too easy, and it's going to get hit with the nerf hammer soon. And when Blizzard nerfs a class, when they micro adjust a class, they hit it hard, okay? They hit Hunters real hard. I'm not going to like this. I don't like it when the general public does well with Hunter. I need to be the hipster Hunter, okay? In which it's bad, but I make it good, all right?
All right.
I'm here with my vinyl, all right? My imported coffee that's been like pooped out of an aardvark,
Sitting there
That's
being
me.
like, Hunter should go face still. Well, everyone's like, we're all control hunters. So yeah, hunters are being really good right now. They're not too aggressive right now. They're mid-range, which is how I normally play hunters, so I'm pretty cool with that. But yeah, they're about to get nerfed really hard, because they're getting a lot of good cards in this expansion, and they're going to be overpowered once the expansion hits. In fact, the top 2 cards in Hunter will be from this new expansion. Whereas you saw with Rogue before that like nothing had beat out Sap. Like you had like the top level of cards, but there's still not like Sap level. It's just like Assassinate level card. And then there's only one of those. So for Rogue, we're going to start things off with a weapon for 3 mana. That already sounds like you should be scared at that point. It is a 177 rated card. There is nothing like Savannah Highmane is a 147. Just to give you guys a bar of what normally happens. That was the highest rated Hunter card. Yeah, that's in the meta. 147. This is 177. So if you're wondering why the Yeti's been going down in value with Saviors of Uldum coming in, it wasn't because of all the neutrals that were ridiculous, although Wrapped Golem did play a role. It's because of all these class cards that are coming in. Common, weapon, 3 mana, 1/3 weapon. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 Locust with Rush.
This is so good. It's so disgustingly good. Hopefully you guys also think it's really good, because it's really good. I see some people being surprised by this. However, what does Hunter really kind of lack? Flexibility, right? It's got power cards. If you look at the power of all of the class cards, Hunter has some of the most powerful cards. It's never needed power. It's needed options and flexibility. This gives you a ton of flexibility. Essentially, if you think Muster was good for flexibility, for giving paladins options, this is less immediate tempo, but every turn after you equip this, in turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, you get split damage. And I understand not both of the, you can't go face with the thing as well. If it was charged, it would be absolutely ridiculous. But it is something that gives hunters not just a powerful card by itself, a powerful card that the class typically has a tough time with, just dealing the small, split up individual damage. It's part of the reason why Springpaw was ridiculously good.
And remember that the twin spell that's like 1 mana, deal 1 damage, like twin spell? Like we never rated it terribly high, but it was damn useful. Like yeah, it was a meta in which there was a lot of pings, but like that was like 2 mana to ping twice. And that was very useful. This is 3 mana to ping 6 times, including 2 pings on the same turn, right? Just like the other card. Like this is insane. I think people don't kind of internalize how splitting up damage affects the game. you never waste a single damage. This is not a 3 mana weapon that's a 2/3, which is like Stormforge Axe, which is really, really good already. This is much better than that. And this is better than this is better than Muster for Battle, because you get 2 damage on your very first turn. Whereas Muster for Battle, you may think like, oh yeah, but you get all your guys out at first. These have Rush. They don't get removed. They're way better than 1/1 dudes. And like, yeah, you get 1 less charge of the weapon, but the Rush more than makes up for it. This is better than Muster for Battle by quite some margin.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to emphasize the point of never overkilling is a huge deal, and it's part of the reason why. Like some people look at Pit Crocolisk and they're like, wait, it deals more damage than something like Kraken from less mana. That is just strictly better. It's like, no. How many times as Kraken do you use the 4 damage for only something with like 2 health, right? And how many times for Pit Crocolisk are you actually going to use the full 5 damage? These are all things that you have to consider, right? Like when you did the 5 damage, did you need the 5 damage or did you only need 3? Did you only need 4? In which case, yeah, it's nice that you had that 5 damage there, but the quote value, the quote sort of kind of return for you playing this card and you holding the card was not as much. So you have to take that into consideration. Desert Spear, you always split up this damage. So you always make sure you get all of the damage. You maximize all of that damage that you are paying for. And that is huge. It's part of the reason why it is this high.
All right. That's enough on Desert Spear, but really, it's going to be meta defining. You're all going to hate it, especially in the first week before they nerf Hunter.
Yeah.
All right, second, the card everyone actually thought was the best card Hunters were going to get, but it's not actually that amazing. Just to give you a comparison, like it's not all Hunters weapons that are good. Headhunter's Hatchet from before. This is just a 2 mana 2/2 battle cry. If you control beast, gain 1 durability. That's a 130. So we're not like, oh, Hunter's weapons are really good. Like Desert Spear is special. It's 177. That's an insane rating. It's special. There's a few of these special cards in Saviors that are just like above normal things that the class was doing. Okay,
this
anyway.
Is why in the Rogue video we're just like, 140? That's cute.
Poor Rogue. Okay, Hunter's Pack. This is the one people were like going crazy about. It's good. It's better than it should be. But it's generally within bounds, I think, given the power levels of this expansion. It's 3 mana, add a random hunter, beast, secret, and weapon to your hand. You know how Rogue spent 2 mana to get 2 random spells? This is 3 mana to get 3 random things. Secrets are generally bad, weapons are generally good, beasts are generally medium. So it kind of evens itself out.
Beast. It's a hunter beast.
Okay, it's a hunter beast, right? So better than a regular beast.
Good-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be better than that Rogue card. I think the Rogue card was rated like a 120 something. This is a 132, but it's just not game breaking. I don't know.
Yep. Apparently, according to Taro, it's in the bottom of the second bucket. That seems
fair.
Correct.
Yeah, that's fair.
Very fair. And once again, fair is not the name.
Wait, where's Desert Spear?
I am curious about Desert Spear. I'm not sure.
Because this is like the broken card, right? This is the card you want them to put definitely in the bottom of the first bucket at lowest. If not, I mean, it should be it's better than all the other Hunter cards, right? It should be in the top of the first bucket. But I don't know if it's gonna.
Apparently, Desert Spear is top of second bucket. That's good.
All right. Well, I mean, they're close. It means they only have to move it like half a bucket to be reasonable, and like 1 whole bucket to be like where it should be.
Right. So you're still getting some value if you pick Desert Spear there, and you should pick it there.
You're getting a lot of value. It's a 177 card, and your average card at the top of the second bucket is like 130.
Sure, but Wrapped Golem in like 5th bucket / 6th bucket.
Okay, fine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And there's one more card and by the way, these are all common. You're going to see these all over the place. So there's one more common card. It's less exciting. It's a trap, like a secret for Hunter, 2 mana. Pressure Plate. After your opponent casts a spell, destroy a random enemy minion. So we rated a 72. It's below a Kobold Geomancer. That's kind of all you need to know about this card. Don't freaking pick it. your opponent, I mean, there's more spells going on, yeah, and yeah, it doesn't just like trigger randomly. It like your opponent needs a minion before it triggers, so it'll never be nothing. You also, it's affected by coin, right? So if your opponent already has something, this will like keep the tempo, but that's a very small thing. You don't really want to kill it. It's like we've mentioned this before. There's like a lot of small things in this meta. Like everyone thinks the meta is getting so much more control-y, but actually, Saviors of Uldum adds a lot of smallish kind of bodies that are like bolstered by like Reborn or like whatever other stuff, and like there's a decent amount of multi-bodies still. It's not a good meta for this card, and the fact that your opponent can just delay this indefinitely makes it so much worse.
Yeah. So here's the problem, right? It's like whenever you have a secret that aims to stop spells or punish spells, or does something with spells. For example, counter spell is a great example, and it stops a spell. Hey, that's pretty good. I don't want them playing spells, so I stop them from playing a spell. Here is like when they play a spell, I destroy one of their minions. But if I'm worried about board clears, they're just still going to clear me. I don't actually. It's like, does the secret stop them from doing what I want them to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
No, it does something tangential when they do something unrelated, right? And that's not what you want. Like, why is counterspell useful sometimes? Because it actually does the thing that I want it to do. Why is freezing trap really good? Because it does exactly what I want it to do in a mana efficient way, which makes pressure plate just bad because it does something tangential to the thing that I want it to actually do when I pick it.
Yeah. Also, your opponent always sets up the board before they trigger it, assuming they get a read on this card, which they will. Because it's the spell is usually the last thing you do unless you're going face. I don't know. The important part of this card is more that it makes all your other traps better because it makes them all more tricky.
It does make it tricky, right? So bad traps can be good overall for the Hunter package if it does something really different and it boxes people into tougher decisions.
Yeah,
totally.
So like explosive trap is better now, like freezing trap is better now, like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Those are your common hunter cards. Pretty good, especially Desert Spear. Now we're going to rares. It's gonna be super good now.
Oh god.
Okay. Brace yourselves, guys. You know what? Let's start weak. Let's do Hyena Alpha first. Just get out of the way. It's a 4-mana card, 4-mana 3/3 beast. Battlecry. If you control a secret, summon 2/2/2 hyenas. Some secret synergy. It's rated at 80 because you need a secret or else it sucks.
Need a secret.
So it's like,
or else it's
it's hard to play it really. But there's a lot of secrets in this meta. It's especially if you're doing a mid-range or a control kind of hunter, it's kind of draftable. 80's kind of low, but that's where it is.
The swing is ridiculously huge.
Yeah, if you can get it off, right? And especially, the point is like pressure, like do the trap thing, right? That triggers when your opponent plays a spell. Your opponent doesn't want to play a spell. Then you play a Hyena Alpha on 4 and you get like 2/2s worth of extra stats. But,
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
With that aside, let's do this. 181. I'm going to say that again. You all saw Desert. Okay, so it's below. Savannah Hymene's a 147. This is a 181. Your Desert Spear was a 177. This is even a little tiny bit better than a Desert Spear.
Yeah. So what is it, ADWCTA? Tell us.
You just want me to try to pronounce this name.
I do.
You could have just said it, man.
So what is it?
It's a Ramkahin Wild Tamer.
I'll be honest, I don't really know. I think it's Ramkahin, but I don't really know. Your guess is as good as mine. We'll call it the Wild Tamer, okay?
It's an RK Wild Tamer.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll accept that. This is in the bottom of the 4th bucket, by the way. A 181 score card is in the bottom of the 4th bucket. It is a 3-mana 4/3 vanilla stats, offensively statted, which hunters want anyways. Battlecry, copy a random beast in your hand.
So, like, get an extra card.
Get an extra card.
So it's like on curve 3-drop. That's the highest curve that 3-drops are allowed, and you just get a free card. Because remember, there are now going to be 2 to 3 times more beasts in Hunter than what you were seeing in Rise of Max. You're gonna have a beast in your hand when you play this.
Yep. And here's the thing. So I immediately seen lots of pushback from people in the chat. I think people are underestimating the number of times it will copy a
Wait, it'll
card.
copy a card almost every time.
Almost every
Even
time.
if you play it on curve.
Yeah.
Like, you
Almost every
definitely...
time.
So, okay, so you can save and not play it on curve and, like, get the beast, but really, you should just play it on curve if it's your only 3-drop, and it will copy it, like, we're talking, like, 85-90% of the time. Like, this card is going to trigger. Now, you know, it's also even better than that. It's not going to copy your smallest beast if you play it on curve, because you would have played a 1-drop and a 2-drop already.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have like multiple beasts, it's actually going to copy the more relevant beasts if you play it on curve.
Yeah. And remember, guys, Ungoro is here. There's a lot of beasts during that set.
And really good beasts, too.
Saviors of Uldum has a lot of beasts. In fact, we gave Hunter a lot of beasts as well. So this is going to be a thing. If you were to make a card that is a 3-mana 4/3 and it said
nothing, like if it was an injured Blade Master, for example.
Yeah.
It would be a 92.
Yep.
So
but
we have just added a card.
And guys, remember, you're not adding a random card, period. This isn't...
You're adding basically a card from your deck. It's a card good enough to be in your deck.
It's a card that you have deemed good enough to draft, right? Now, of course, with the bucketing system, that's like, eh. But remember, the average card in your deck is around a 115 to a 120 score.
Mm-hmm.
So you're copying on average, a 120 score beast. That's really good. That's really, really good. And if you're playing Merps Hunter, I'd still, especially in the 4th bucket, I would draft this and I'll copy that extra 1-mana 2/1, and I'm ridiculously happy about that. I'm like, oh my god, extra flexibility.
Yeah,
just one more thing for me. That's fantastic. And if you copy that extra Violet Worm, if you copy that extra,
you guys remember
Warbear?
You guys remember like Elec and how like 40% of the time it got you an extra card, and you were all like really happy about it, as you should be, and it was like a very highly rated card. Well, imagine if that becomes almost guaranteed instead of 40%. Yeah. And instead of a 2-drop, it's a 3-drop, which are better now.
Yeah. You don't want 2-drops. It's part of the reason why like Injure Tolvir is as low as you guys see it is. It's like, great. 2s are great, but 3s, the spike up is so tremendous that your 2s are going to get dominated.
So, yeah. Cool. That is those are your top 2 cards in Hunter now. Desert Spear and Ramka Wall Tamer. I don't know. Like, this is a huge power jump for Hunter.
It is. The thing is, like, it's unfair how good this card is for every Hunter archetype. If you're playing a control Hunter, like an actual control Hunter in the arena,
super good.
Super good. If you are playing my style of Hunter, which is like the aggroist of aggro, I happily take this card. Like I said, I probably copy a 1 or 2-drop with it, and I'm so happy because it gives me a little bit of extra fuel. It gives me a lot more flexibility as well, and it's just offensively statted and with vanilla stats. This is why the score is so high. This is why it is a 181, which is ridiculous. That's like premium of premium.
This card is better than an Animal Companion if it were a 3/3. Like, that's how good it is, and it's a 4/3. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. And we're not done, by the way. If you think like, oh no, these are super overpowered. So here's another card that's better than a Savannah High main. It's a Swarm of Locusts. 6 mana, summon 7/1/1 Locust with Rush. So again, this is the Desert Spear effect, right? The Desert Spear effect, which is you get to ping whatever you do. You don't lose any overkill damage. You get 1/1s. Instead of dealing the damage, and you get a guaranteed 7 damage if you can like trade your board off otherwise.
7 damage split, and whatever you don't use, you just get to keep on the board.
So freaking good. This is a 180, 158. So, by the way, anything. If you, I heard someone ask before. So, what is the premium line now? What do you consider good? 122 for neutral and 150 for a class card. Like to be basically anything above that. If I were designing a game, I would not allow to exist in the game. So, Savannah Highmane, by the way, 147. So that's the line, right? Like Savannah, no, nothing above Savannah Highmane and Hunter. And really, it's all relative. So actually, once you get rid of these cards, Savannah Highmane actually goes above 150. So you'd have to get rid of Savannah Highmane too. So really, I wouldn't allow Savannah Highmane in the deck.
Wait. And then after you get rid of Savannah Highmane, something else jumps
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
150.
Freezing Trap is no longer allowed. Deadly Shot is no longer allowed. Eagle Horn
Okay,
Bow
so we get rid of
goes.
that.
Yeah. Eventually,
Okay.
your best Hunter card is going to be Explosive Shot.
Okay, but then they come out with something like too many things with 5 health, and that gets up to 150, and you ban that, and you're really just left with the most vanilla of things. And then you start getting into that crisis where it's like, ooh, I don't know, Pit Fighter's looking kind of spicy. I don't know if
Pit Fighter's a 105, all right?
Yeah,
I think Pit Fighters are going to be fine. But, like,
yeah,
the alternative is what you do here with Blizzard, and you end up with, like, trying to save the game. They're losing. They're losing some people. They're losing some excitement. They don't have new ideas for this set. Like, that's why the algorithm has such an easy time doing all this. This is the easiest set to algorithm, by far. Like, the last time it was this easy was, like, Boomsday, and that was still significantly harder than this. Part of it is that we got half the legendaries we used to, but the other part is there's no new mechanics. This is all old recycled stuff. And so how do you make old recycled stuff seem better? Well, you power creep. Yep. So here we get it. Some power creep. Okay.
Power creeping.
Let's look at the epic cards. So, like, overall, hunters now can ping, right? That's what you should. That's your bottom line. You should take away from this. Hunters now can ping, really, really, really freaking well.
Yep.
All right, let's look at the epic cards. There's 2 epic cards. They ain't no slouches either, but next to the cards we just reviewed, they might as well not exist in the game. Both 6 mana cards. One is a Scarlet Webweaver, 6 mana, 5/5, Battlecry, reduce the cost of a random beast in your hand by 5.
Not bad. Really not bad. Like, so if you think of it this way, if you reduce the cost of a random beast by just 1, right? Like, let's say you manage to get a 1-drop, right? Even just a 1-drop to 0. Okay, that's decent. This is a pretty decent tempo.
Yep.
The only problem is, like, it's slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's slow and you can't control it. That's the only real problem.
Well, you play out your other beasts, so it's even slower.
I know. So once again, it's like it comes on turn 6. Sometimes you've already played your beast, right? You've already, like, played your beast. You can't really control it. But 109, guys, remember, like, 109 is good.
Pretty good now. Yeah. Yeti's 102. Good. This is better than Yeti.
This is not bad at all.
All right, next card, again, epic. We're on the epics now. Wild Bloodstinger. It's a 108. It's basically the same as the other card. It's better than a Yeti, but not by too much. It's a 6 mana, 6/9 Battlecry. Summon a minion from your opponent's hand. Attack it. Okay, so 1, this card has to be busted and constructed. But in the arena, you're probably summoning something and then hitting it and then killing it, which is great and all, but you basically just kind of, like, made them discard a card. And you have summoned a lower tempo card than you want. Because let's just say they pull out something normal, right? Let's do a little math here. They pull out a 4/4. It's successful. It has no Death Rattle. It has no Divine Shield. It has no Reborn. Nothing funny. You end up with a 6/5.
Yep.
And they lose a card. So you made them discard a random creature. And you happy about that? Kind of, maybe. But it's not that great on curve. So yeah.
Yeah, look, the first thing people are going to think of is the Doomsday scenario where it pulls out a Basilisk, right? And it can happen. It could happen, guys. But on average, this is good. This is actually really good. You're going to be playing a decently statted minion and discarding a card from your opponent's hand. That's pretty freaking solid. So it's why that this thing actually has a fairly high score, even though, number 1, it's kind of expensive, and number 2, there is a random factor to it. On average, though, it's quite good, which is why it's a 108. And you know our system penalizes the randomness like this, so
Yep. It does its job.
It does its job. Like it's yeah.
All right. Let's go on to the legendary. This is the last card in Hunter. It is a Dino Tamer Bran. It's a 127. Not insane, but pretty good. Not as good as King Crush himself, because King Crush is back and he's a 152. And we'll go into this. This is like a Highlander card discussion, right? This is one of our first Highlander cards, the first of the 4 League of Explorers people that are coming back. The 7 mana 2/4, so you will never play that. You will wait until your deck has no duplicates, and then summon a King Crush. Okay. So the penalty of a Highlander deck in Arena is exactly proportional to how badly Blizzard misbuckets stuff. Yes. Because whenever Blizzard misbuckets stuff, especially stuff in this expansion that has high offering rates, especially cards that are like common, especially like spells, you're going to be offered a lot. You're going to want to take them. It's going to be a lot better for your deck to take them than your 2 other alternatives. If you have Dino Tamer Bran in your deck early, you will not be able to take them. It will be worth it for you to support Dino Tamer Bran instead of the rest of your deck. That comes at a cost. That cost exists even if you never draw Dino Tamer Bran, because your deck is shittier. So this card has a penalty that goes beyond what it's like when it gets played. Even worse, because this is like a tier list, we just kind of put it like where it kind of is, not like, oh, you're building your whole deck around it. If you get it like on your like 16th pick or something and you already have a duplicate, now like you're gonna have to like wait for it to not have a duplicate before you can play it, which is right. Like sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't work. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't work, it's not good, and it's all RNG. You can't control any of it.
The problem with Dino Tamer Bran is it's so worthless if you're not summoning King Crush. At least with Zephyrus, you're getting the stats that you're supposed to get for the mana cost. With Dino Tamer Bran, when you summon King Crush, it's absolutely amazing. But when you don't summon it, it's unplayably bad. You'd probably rather just hero power and then like without doing it. Like by turn 7, if I'm playing a 2/4 or I'm hero powering, I'm probably just hero powering instead. It's actually just that bad. Yep. So you have to look at so many factors. Addleton and I had a pretty like deep conversation about this, in which we're like, how do we do Highlander? Because we just don't have as much information, but we do have some information. So even, for example, we looked at something like Wrapped Golem, right? And we're like, okay, even if they misbucket this highly, which they did, it's a rare, right? So it's not going to at least be the Scribe. It'll have an effect, but not as much as Scribe. And if you look at a lot of these kind of class cards as well, it's like, okay, well, are the powerful ones, you know, the broken ones rare, or are they common, or are they epic? How big is the set? How much removal is there going to be? Like, because you have metas in which you don't want to take too much removal, so you actually go away from it, and it's fine for you to not sort of load up on the same cards over and over. And then we sort of end up in this halfway enlightened state where we kind of know, but these could all change. This could all change.
Okay. Yep.
Do you not agree with this?
No, I mean, we just have some assumptions about how bad Blizzard is at bucketing. So unless Blizzard gets bucketing like better, it's not going to change. And you know, maybe they'll bucket worse, but they've been pretty consistent in how badly they bucket for like more than a year now. I don't know. I don't think, even if they like rebucket something to be like a little better, I don't think it's going to convince me to move this card.
Yeah. All right. That is Hunter. So it's good. It's really good. You got Ramkatan Wild Tamer, you got Desert Spear, you got Swarm of Locusts. I think the Hunter identity is going to be they can do whatever. They'll be good aggro. They'll be good mid-range. I mean, everything's going to be a little iffy mid-range, but like they'll be good mid-range and they'll be good control.
because they still
No,
have.
they won't, because Blizzard will nerf them into the ground.
Okay, so hunters will be bad at everything.
Yes.
You heard it from here. But for the next week, they will be really good. So definitely, if you like hunter or if you're thinking of trying the class out, next week's a great time to try hunter. They're not going to nerf it to the ground yet. It will take them a little bit of time before they nerf it to the ground. All right. That's it from us. Until shout out to Educated Collins who hosted us just now. Well, earlier on in the Hunter discussion. Thank you so much for the host, and thank you to all of our viewers and all of our Twitch followers and subscribers. We're doing this live on Twitch in case you haven't figured that out if you're watching this on YouTube or on the podcast. So thank you guys. And we'll move on to the next class right after this. Until then, this is ADWCTA.
Merps here. Goodbye.